Okay, everybody, it's time to do the Javier Mendez podcast. And Javier and I were just talking about the debut of ONE FC on United States American soil in Colorado. What do you think about that, Jav?
Um, well, it's different. I've never seen it before, and it's kind of WWE-ish
Oh,
in a
really?
way because, well, the promoter and the guys they start screaming, oh, we got this exciting, and blah, 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 and I'm like, okay, so they're hyping it up, blah blah blah, but the fighters themselves are world class. The entertainment value is world class. If I'm not a grappling specialist by any means, but the one world champion they had, Mikey, I guess they call him the professor, the nerd, and
Mm-hmm.
he had a grappling match to defend his world title. The guy was, I believe, 60-5 or 66-5. He was really super impressive. I was very impressed with his jiu-jitsu ability. Just unbelievable. The guy is great. Guy's great. Then and then there's another Muay Thai fighter has 270 wins Muay Thai. Rotang, his name is Rotang. He was impressive as hell too. I was really impressed with him. The main event, of course, was Mighty Mouse versus Marias. This is like the triple time. This is the third time they fought. First time, uh, Mighty Mouse got hit by the knee because there you can hit a downed opponent with the knee, and he kind of was down. He got taken a little bit down. He got hit with the knee, and on the rematch, Mighty Mouse repaid the favor, almost identical, somewhat, not quite, but somewhat, and knocked him out with the knee. So this was the third fight going out, and very competitive fight, and you could see the subtleness in why Mighty Mouse is, to me, the greatest flyweight of all time, one of the greatest of all time. He proved it by just what he does good at. He's good at everything,
He
and
was
he's
up
a
against
jump.
a huge guy.
Yeah,
Guy looked like he
yeah,
had 45 pounds on him in the
yeah,
cage.
yeah. Well, he's 5'3" compared to 5'7", and Mighty Mouse just did some incredible clinch work. Strategy was great. The guy is just a master everywhere, really, to be honest with you. I'm thoroughly impressed with Mighty Mouse. It was an entertaining fight, and it went to 5 rounds, and deservedly so. Mighty Mouse won, so uh, we'll see what happens from there, whether he goes into retirement. I'm sorry, not stays, whether he goes into retirement or he doesn't. But one thing's for damn sure, he's one of the greatest. That's what I got out of that. The show was entertaining. Just I could just do without the announcers yelling like they are, like trying to sell a WWE show because the fighters themselves are great. So I don't know if I need to hear them guys yelling, like you know what I'm saying. And you watch the
Yeah.
WWE and you see the broadcasters, they're all like screaming and
Let me
you
tell
know,
you, Javier, this is
yeah,
what's going
exactly.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was my only
Yeah.
downfall on that. Not the show itself, just the
Yeah.
all the guys talking like that, like exactly what you just did. I'm like, shut up already.
Hey,
I
brother,
already know.
he's coming
Yeah,
in 16
yeah,
and 1. It's going
yeah,
down. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see
exactly.
that.
I'm like going, okay.
I'm a
I don't know.
jobber.
I don't know. Maybe people like that. I don't. But I like the show. The show was good because they do a mixture of Muay Thai, submission wrestling and MMA. Jiu-jitsu based basically mostly. But it's very entertaining. Guys, they're world class fighters for darn sure. So it was entertaining. Definitely entertaining.
It's here's the funny part, Hav. My mom, who's almost 85 years old, called me up. She goes, I don't know if you know this, Len, but there's gonna be a fight on Amazon. If you don't want to miss it, it's ONE FC. I'm like, how does my 80-something-year-old mom know about this fight? They must have advertised the hell out of this fight on everything.
But they're
Because she
on.
goes, I like
They're
MMA. We never talk about UFC, MMA, anything. But yeah, here it was. Get to
well,
my
I have one. I have Amazon, and I never watched it. This is the first one I ever watched, and that's because one of my fighters, Ahmed, was fighting Sage Norcut, and unfortunately, my guy didn't make it past the 40-second mark, and that's what happens. Sometimes you would come in prepared, everything's right, and hey, man, one punch, one submission, you're out of the game, and that's what happened to him. So hopefully he'll rebound back and come back stronger, because that's all you can do. You can come back stronger, or you can quit. It's up to you what you want to do. But yeah, no, Sage Northcutt looked really good. I mean, he's a specimen. I mean, when you look at him, the guy is a specimen, man. It's like, I don't know if you're looking at his action or you're looking how ripped the guy is. He's so freaking well built. It's ridiculous how built this guy is. And it's impressive. It's impressive, and he's a very, very kind. The kind of person that you like to listen to, because he's kind words. He's a kind guy. So pretty impressive. And Ahmed's a great guy himself. Unfortunately, like I said, he didn't get to show the best side of him. But hey, that happens. And move on. Go on to the next one.
Well, don't you have another Habib fighter, from Eagles MMA guy there? I'm trying to forget. He's in that league, right? Not Ahmed.
One FC?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sagid, yes.
Sagid. I was trying to recall.
Yeah.
Sagid's he's looking forward to getting down. He had a good fight there once already, I think. It's
Two
interesting.
fights.
Two fights. So people came over there and they got wrecked. I mean, out of the UFC, wrecked. I'm like, whoa, is it something in the Singaporean air or in the food? What happened? This guy, Mighty Mouse got wrecked over there. Like, he looked invincible in the UFC. So it does change either the rules or the thing. It's like we talk about, there's a couple things in the rules that are different, maybe a little more along Pride or one of these other organizations that used to exist, right?
Yeah, well, the rules did change, and that's kind of what got Mighty Mouse knocked out by Marias. Is he was kind of on the way down, and he got kneed. And normally you can knee a knee opponent here, so the rules did change. So it's in the UFC that wouldn't have happened to him, but because this was ONE FC, the rules changed. Yeah, so he didn't adapt to the rules, and he got KO'd for it. So yeah, it does take a while. Is people don't realize, when you go, okay, let's say for instance you say bare knuckle, or you
Right.
go, the 4-ounce gloves. Well, there's a big difference between bare knuckle and 4-ounce gloves. So
And boxing gloves.
oh my God, yeah, there's a big difference on all three. And you don't know it until you experienced it. Then you go, oh, okay, this is not so easy. So you gotta give a guy a little bit of credit for, if he doesn't do well the first time, readjusting, come back better.
Yeah, I think Eddie Alvarez was over there too, if I'm not mistaken.
He didn't do so well, or did he do well? I don't know.
I don't think he did so well.
But then he did. If I'm not mistaken, he was the title. He won the title.
I don't know. I'd have to check.
Because I'm pretty sure Eddie Alvarez did well with them. He didn't do well at the beginning, but I think he did do well.
Maybe he got it back. I don't want to.
I would say I'm pretty sure he did.
He just fought bare knuckle the other day.
Yeah, he fought Chad Mendez and he lost in barn burner. I heard. He won. He won
that. He beat Chad Mendez. But Chad Mendez, that we think of as a wrestler, was a boxing son of a gun when it came to bare knuckle boxing.
Chad Mendez could box, bro. He could box.
Yeah.
So that was Eddie Alvarez beating Chad Mendez is pretty big feather in Eddie's side, because that was no joke of a fighter to go through, especially that way.
Eddie Alvarez left on a loss and no contest, had a win, had 2 losses. He had some. Okay, wait a second. My bad. That's okay. So he had the first fight he had there was a loss. Then he won one. Then he had a no contest. Then he lost one. And then he's at bare knuckle boxing. On guys that you may have never heard of, like, okay, Ray Yoon. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So yeah. That's different. You go to a different place. I mean, some of those hardcore Muay Thai guys, bangers, are, sitting waiting for you over in the middle of Asia. Going, okay, it might not translate. You take a karate class in the States and you step outside, but it's different when you come from the real stuff. I'm sure it hangs all over. So, what did you think about the UFC fights?
It's the first time I've watched the UFC fights, because when I was in Dubai for almost 2 months, man, I loved them. There was a lot of good fights on there for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was a good fights, real good fights. I really enjoyed it.
It's your favorite TV show. Finally, you get it back. I can't imagine. Like, I've been watching them so consistently for so many years. I can't imagine a couple of months without it. It's been forever since I did that. But what was the first fight? The young Russian gentleman, we were talking about him last time, and he get fight of the night. Let me see, which one was this? Not the Matt Frivola. Look it up.
Matt Frivola, he beat up Drew Dober.
Yeah,
he hit him with the beautiful overhand, knocked him like out. That was a very exciting fight.
That's impressive, man. He finished him faster than Islam did. You know that.
Well,
Islam wasn't trying to finish.
Only take one punch though. Islam was different.
It's true.
He's an exciting guy, Matt Frivola. So let's see what happens next.
See how he comes up there. I'm not saying it's the same thing. And then Kron Gracie, I guess, when I heard Dana talking about, he fought Charles Jourdain, and he was saying it looked too old school. He kind of basically is like, you're kind of bringing old Gracie style into MMA that's evolved like by 10 years is what he was.
Yeah, I think that's what I thought he was doing, because
UFC one style.
You watched that fight when the previous fight before that with Club Swampson, and he was throwing really well. He's doing everything really well. I think he wanted to bring back the old Gracie style and how dominant it was, but it's not anymore, because it's one thing when no one knows what you guys know, but now it's another when everybody knows what you know. And as tough as Gracie was and as accomplished he is on jiu-jitsu, you got to understand one thing: the time limits you, and that's why he was saying there should only be one round. And this is before the fight, so you can already tell his mindset was on this type of style of fighting. And unfortunately for him, it just didn't work out. But I'll tell you what, that son of a gun, he could take some shots, because he took some good shots, and it didn't phase him. He didn't get phased. He didn't get deterred. He just kept working on his style, trying to make it work. And I give a lot of applaud for that, because that's a lot of courage to not change his style and still continue in on what made them great. And unfortunately, the time's passed. And it's great to add the great jiu-jitsu that they brought, but you have to add other elements to that greatness of what they brought to the table in the first place. Because without their great knowledge of jiu-jitsu and what they brought forward, there wouldn't be this type of competition. But everybody else has evolved using what you had and using what they have. It's time for all people to understand that if you're going to fight MMA, it's not checkers, it's chess, so learn all the pieces. If you want to be successful, you have to, unless you're super, super dominant in one area. But everybody's getting so dominant, you go in against another individual that's got jiu-jitsu almost as good as yours, but not quite, but he has wrestling that's way better than yours. You got striking that's way better than yours, and he's got Muay Thai that's way better than yours because you don't practice it. Well, I mean, it's only common sense, right? What's going to happen? The chances of you winning are not so great. They're still there, because Gracie Jiu-Jitsu as a single art is the best in the world, in my opinion. I don't think anybody beats just single one art for one art. I don't think anybody beats Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I think it's still number one. But everybody's losing number one, number two, number three, number four, and number five.
Yeah,
and they're blending them all together. So it's kind of hard to beat that when you just got one style. You like a wrestler, right? Remember, the wrestlers would come in trying to beat Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. What happened to them? They got smashed. What happened when boxers tried to come in and beat Gracie Jiu-Jitsu? They got smashed. So either wrestling would smash them or boxing would smash them. Just like a boxer thinking he's going to beat a Muay Thai guy, a real Muay Thai guy, not someone who does Muay Thai, a real Muay Thai guy versus a real boxer. The boxer got smashed.
right.
It's just, that's the way it is. You have to adapt to what your rules are. You can't just think, I can just go over to cross over and do this and do that. You got to adapt well. Some people can adapt really well and do well in so many multiple different arts, but not everybody, especially if you don't respect the other arts. Look what Luke Rockhold, he comes in, does bare knuckle fighting, and he got half his face blown off, right? Because he didn't respect it as much as he probably should have, or maybe he was over cocky. Who knows what the deal was? All I know is, it's a different sport. He got hit with a beautiful right hand that delayed effect later. Then he stopped because, his teeth were falling out in front of his face, I mean,
I think his front tooth broken. and
Yeah,
how
not only that, more than that damage was done. There's a lot of damage done to
there's more
him, you
than just
know?
that, huh? Wow.
Yeah, yeah, you got a lot of damage. So, it's what I'm saying is you got to respect all the arts and you got to respect the participants in them because if you don't respect them, that's when you're in trouble. The only time you beat somebody is when you come in knowing that you're training to fight the best person that you've ever fought in your life. That's when you come in, you destroy the people you're supposed to destroy. But if you don't practice like that and you practice like so and so, oh, I'm going to beat this guy, I'm over it, and all of a sudden you go in there, that guy turns out to be tougher. It kind of messes with your head. And I
Yeah.
think that happens there. I think with Gracie, I think he basically came in with old style, and you know what? Had it been any less of a fighter in jiu-jitsu other than the guy he fought, it probably would have worked. Probably would have worked. Probably would have worked because he had great transitions from grappling to go into the guard, and it probably would have worked. It's just he fought the wrong guy,
Well,
the wrong style, and the wrong guy.
you've got all these locks that people didn't know how to get out of before. Now everybody has the key, and that's what changes. So yeah,
Well,
I got
yeah,
you in this. I'm going to do a triangle. I already know how to get out of that 6 different ways. By the
yeah,
way,
yeah, yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I learned it from 5 different guys at 6 different schools. Whatever,
yeah.
and then you've got I don't know, just the changes of things. It's funny when you talk about bare knuckle boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, all the separate sports, right?
They're all
Jiu-jitsu.
separate. They're all
You might
separate.
as well be talking about a bunch of basketball players talking smack to some professional kayakers, how they're going to handle the river better than them. And then the guys in the kayaks going, we're going to kick your ass to a bunch of, speed skaters for Olympic ice skating. You know what I mean? It's just, they're whole different things. And it doesn't
They're
mean
all
you're good at
different.
one, you're good at everything. Not even
Yeah.
close.
No, not even close. They're all different, and you have to respect the art. You have to, and I learned that the hard way myself. Going into kickboxing gyms because I was knocking everybody out with just boxing. So I
Right.
decided not to kick because I didn't need kicking. I thought kicking was overrated, and I go in my first loss ever. I go in and I got whooped by a kickboxer. Whooped my ass, because why? I didn't respect kickboxing, and I was sparring with the high level boxers, but that wasn't good enough. It was kickboxing. The range is different, timing's different. The energy, the kick is different. Even though I was in boxing shape, I wasn't in kickboxing shape, and it
Taking a
cost me.
leg, taking a kick to the gut is different than a
Yeah,
punch.
no, it's a whole different story. And I was full
The leg.
contact. I was above the waist. We had shin guards and booties, So my style was wimpy compared to what kickboxers do. Thai boxers, mine was kickboxing. Thai boxers now that's a whole different ballgame. But again, it's all different. Just like if you watch the Muay Thai guys that do headbutts, they use their head.
Yeah.
Try go fighting one of those guys and
The
see if you think you're.
Myanmar guys. Yeah.
Yeah, try to go fight one of those guys and see if you can fight no problem. All of a sudden, before you know it, the guy's coming in, he headbutts you right in your teeth. And you loses your teeth, and all of a sudden you're knocked out by a headbutt because that's legal. That's what they do. So these guys are experts on that. Try hitting a guy that's putting his head right into you, and see what happens in your hand. It's very dangerous. So all different styles. You have to practice for that style if you're going to do well. And there's great athletes that can transcend many different various styles, but they're not going to be as proficient as if they practice that style in particular for that particular fight. Instead of crossing over 2 months, I'm gonna do wrestling when I'm never a wrestler. 2 months, I'm gonna do a jujitsu tournament when I'm really not a jujitsu guy. It doesn't transcend well. It doesn't. So you have to spend the time in each particular art and respect the art because it's very difficult to win otherwise.
No, it's so true, Javier. I mean, this goes even further, and for more podcasts, I'd go on another tangent, but I want to cover the card. Um, Mavsar Ivolev, that's the guy that won the fight that had a lot of heart against Diego Lopez. That was a fight of the night. That's the one we were talking about. Young
That's a
Russian
great.
guy.
That was a great fight. And Masvidal, what's his name? Masbar,
Mavsar, yeah, Mavsar.
Mabzar. He's awesome. He's awesome. And the other guy, the Diego Lopez guy, he wow. He. Hey, there's got to be some kind of rule changes for guys that come up with those kind of submissions, and he should get credit for what he did because it shouldn't be. I'm tired of these guys that are wrestler based taking a guy down and he wins because he takes you down, but he did nothing with it. But the guy that's on the ground is submitting you, attempting submissions, has close submissions, but yeah, he doesn't get anything for that. This Diego kid, I mean, yeah, Diego, right? Is Diego?
Diego
Yeah,
Lopez. Yeah.
Diego Lopez. Yeah, he had him down, and he had some two great submissions. And what, they didn't count for much? I don't know. I'm totally this judging. I don't know. It needs to change a little bit, because I shouldn't be that you take a person down and the guy on the bottom submissions should count for more than what they are counting for. That's my opinion, because he has some really close submissions that should amount to something.
Yeah, it's true.
It didn't appear that they gave him much credit for the attempts he had, because they were close, man. That armbar was close, and he had a few of them.
It's funny because I did judo, and we'd have competitions, and somebody would have me in an armbar, but it wasn't hurting me. Like I could have fought out of it or let them. They thought they had it. They didn't have my elbow popping. But I understand this. I guess that kind of thing must have happened to him. Like it looked like he had it more than he did. Because if he really had that armbar, that guy would have been screaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was close. It was a good shot. It was good. He had him in trouble, is what I'm saying, and that should count for something.
Right.
It should
I
count for
understand.
something. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he won the fight, but I'm saying the 30 and 27 bout. I go, wait a minute, man. That guy at least won one round. At the very least, he won one round. So the judging still is very subjective, and as you know,
It's always going to be. Don't leave it in the hand of the
yeah.
judges.
No, like the next fight after that, the girls fight, with Andrade. Andrade, she got KO'd, man.
Andrade
Yeah,
in Spanish, Andrade in Portuguese. Yeah,
yeah.
I thought she was because Jessica Andrade looked so top notch in her last fight, but apparently Jan is training over at Team Alpha Male, just took
For a
her out
year,
with it.
for a
Yeah,
year, her boxing was crisp, her power was crisp, her attitude was great, her energy was great. And Andrade, I don't know if she got overconfident or what, or maybe they just caught up. Maybe the sports passed her. I don't know, but she hasn't been doing so well her last few fights. Andrade has been getting the worst end of it. And this one was a real bad one. She got starched.
yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that just shows you that. Can you now you got Wei Lee and her going for that. I think they should do that. This will be the first time in China you have the champion being Chinese and then the top contender Chinese. I think that'd be a great matchup. Wei Li versus her, I think, would be unbelievable for China, unbelievable for fans, because I myself would love to see that fight. I think it'd be a very entertaining fight.
Well, that's a good one. The next fight, I was like wishing that I was hoping that Gilbert would have gave a more competitive fight, but he messed up his shoulder and tore his shoulder in the first round, I think. Against
Uh,
Bilal.
I don't know what it is he messed up. I just know he wasn't using his left hand. But let's be fair. Bilal just fought a great fight. Let's be fair. It's like, yeah, Gilbert wasn't able to use his left hand, so that probably took a lot of his weapons. But I don't know. It seemed to me like Bilal was going to make it his night, no matter what he had to overcome. It looked like he was going to overcome it. So, though Gilbert was definitely 100% handicapped, and he was at a big disadvantage. But Bilal also took advantage of it, when he realized it, and he started kicking to that left side where with the right kick. When he wasn't at the beginning, he was using the left kick to kick on the other side. But I think maybe he read it that he was a little hurt, and so he attacked more. But I love the way Bilal didn't abandon the game plan. He kept switching from one style to the other style, one style to the other style. So it's very difficult to figure out. And the one thing I'm wondering is, being that the fighter couldn't use his left hand, I'm wondering what would I have done? Would I have canceled the fight because my fighter is handicapped, or would I let it go? I think if I would have canceled the fight, I think depending on my fighter would have been pissed at me. So I'm thinking that probably Henry did the right thing. But I'm wondering if the UFC doctor heard that he couldn't use his left hand, would they have stopped it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the question to that. It's all subjective, right, to what the doctor thinks. I think, but I don't
I heard
know as a corner man.
the coach was like, "Come on, go in hard, double up on your right, and then kick him with your left." And it's like
Yeah.
I was like thinking about that, like that was a trick. Like, what if I had to do that and I'm feeling the pain in my arm because I had rotator shoulder problems at one time in my life, and I go, I'd be thinking about the pain in my arm and then trying to coordinate those two things. I couldn't do it like a natural flow. That is never a drill that you're really holding the pads for, like right, left kick, right, left kick. That's not normal, right? Not a normal pattern.
No,
Not
no,
at
that's
all. So you
it's
have
to
to
put
think
hit.
about it so it's not fluid. The two rights are doable, but then the left kick, I'm like, what do you got? And if you risk something where they can take you down by throwing your right kick, then what you got really?
Well,
And if that's
this is the point where they're kind of good and right, because let me tell you, it's like, okay, Gilbert Burns a 4-time world jiu-jitsu champion. Okay.
right,
And taking him down wouldn't be the smartest move. And if you didn't know his arm was injured, why would you take him down? You wouldn't, especially if you were doing as well as you are in the stand-up. I don't think I'd take him down either. So if I was Gilbert Burns' coaches, I would tell him kick, yeah, definitely kick, because he couldn't throw nothing but the right hand. He really couldn't wrestle. You saw him try to wrestle, and you saw him give up quick. So there was definitely pain there, and it wasn't until the commentators. I noticed it right before the commentators started saying, "Hey, his left hands are," because he shook it right, and I said, "Oh,
yeah,
his left hand's not doing." That's why I said, "Okay, this is not good." But he never gave up anything. They say I was injured. He never gave up. What a true warrior that guy is. He never gave up one time. Not one time did he give up. I found that fight very entertaining. Durinho never, ever, ever gave up on himself. Always tried. Listened to his corner. His corner said double up on the right, follow with the kick, and he did do that. He did do that. He tried, but it's very difficult when you're only one dimensional and the other guy's multi-dimensional. It's very difficult to overcome. And
yeah.
being multi-dimensional versus dimensional, I'm sorry. And the other guy was in great shape. And think about this: he just got off of Ramadan.
Well, it's crazy. Yeah, Bilal looked great, but
He got
Bilal.
off of Ramadan, and he did that. That's amazing.
Well, the other thing is that was surprising is that Bilal looked like the power hitter. I thought that was going to be Gilbert. I was wrong. The
Yeah, he
power,
looked
the
like
power, the power was on Bilal's side. I thought I'd seen Gilbert knock people out so much, but I go, was that a lighter weight or a different matchup style? What's the difference here? Then they meet at a
or
catch weight.
no, it could have been very. I don't know what weight they met. I thought it was 170. I think
This
that.
is welterweight. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I thought the difference was that I couldn't use my left hand, so therefore you don't see much of my power. And he didn't want to throw power shots all the time. He would have got real tired. So no, Gilbert fought well. He fought really well considering where he was, and imagine that's his third fight in what, 4 months?
something like that. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, he
So
was on a good run. I mean, he lost to
yeah.
Hazmat, and that was a close match. And he beat Neil Magny and Masvidal, pretty well. And then
Now, what are they going to do, Bilal? Are they going to deny him now again after what is now? He's on a 9-0-1 win streak. Come on, he hasn't been beaten over 4 years. Are you going to not give this guy a title fight next after Colby and
yeah, that's
and Leon Edwards fights?
he gets one of those guys. Yeah, he's on it. He's on the
He
way for that.
deserves it. He deserves it. He
Yeah,
deserved it before this one. To be honest with you, why did Colby get it? Because that's what they decide. They go by the numbers. How they do
they
it,
go
I
by
don't
the
know.
analytics. If
Yep.
YouTube says because you got to put yourself out there as a fighter. If you don't, you might get some pay per views because the other guy's carrying you and you've got a great style. But you got to PR yourself. You got to do podcasts. You got to get out there and get yourself known because that's what moves the needle and that's what Dana White looks at.
I'm sorry, but that's the way it goes. It's not a fair sport. I never called it a sport. It's an entertainment sport. I always say it. How many
Right.
times I've been saying on this podcast, entertainment sport. Well, Colby Covington moves the needle because of what he does and what he says. And he's a great fighter. He really is a great fighter. So he moves the needle. So therefore, he gets opportunities, which rightfully so belong to Bilal. The shot belonged to Bilal, but Covington got it because number one, he's does what the company wants, creates buzz, and that's what he did. So, but now I don't see how Bilal doesn't get the next title shot. I don't see how Bilal. If I was Bilal, I would put myself in as a backup in case those two guys miss weight, that he'd be the backup, because then this will almost guarantee that they won't pass him up. That's what I would do.
I think he's pretty much locked in. It seemed like that's what Dana was saying in the post fight. So I don't see any too worry there.
Well, it would be better if he could lock himself in,
Yeah, for sure. I agree. You know how it goes. You've
Yeah, of
been there with
course.
many fighters in many years.
Of course.
It's not so linear all the time. And for the final bout, Aljamain versus Cejudo, were you surprised by Cejudo's performance in a good way, bad way, or did you think Aljamain had it? I mean, what was your thoughts?
I was very impressed with Aljamain. I thought that he did fantastic. I thought Cejudo did great. I'll be honest with you. I don't know who won that fight, man. I was okay. Cejudo, okay, yeah, okay. Aljamain, okay, yeah. I mean, it was such a back and forth, depending what you're looking at. I mean, I'm sorry, but I think all the experts, us so-called experts, I think we were all in difference on this one here, because I think some
Yeah.
of us will go Cejudo, some of us will go Aljamain. I'm not going either. I'm just gonna go. I don't know. It was whoever won, they won, but they also know they won a very tough fight. And both guys are true warriors. What I was thinking in my mind is I thought Henry should have went in and boxed more to make it a better deal for him, because Aljamain, to me, doesn't look like he's as good a boxer, but he uses his range really well. So I would have got inside and had Henry work a lot of inside fighting. But he did that, but I don't think he did that enough. Personally, I think he should have been in there boxing more on the inside, because I think Henry's boxing is better. But the kicking on Alger was very impressive. Going low calf kick was going good. The grappling end, Aljamain did really well too. He turned over situations that you would think he couldn't, and he did. And he's just a big dude. Henry's not a big dude. He normally a flyweight, but yeah, he's a little big, but his strength is not that of a legit, bantamweight. It's that level of more flyweight. But his ability is, I mean, come on, he's one of the greatest for a reason, Henry Cejudo. And this fight didn't diminish him at all. It just showed that maybe wrong game plan, maybe needs more fights. Who knows? But also could very well be that the champ is just that good. Either way, I was happy with whoever won.
That's it's kind of comparable to the ONE FC fight. It was like, one smaller guy and one, same weight class, but one looked significantly bigger on both of those fights. That looked like the same type of comparable type of fight,
Yeah, but different results.
Right.
Mighty Mouse, the smaller one, won in ONE FC, and
David beat Goliath, and Goliath beat David.
Yeah, yes. And I mean, but I kind of think that Demetrius did do, there I knew for sure Demetrius won that fight. I knew he won for sure. This one here, oh man, I don't know. I don't know who won that fight. I said, man, it's so damn close. Any one of those rounds could have gone to anybody. And like I said, us so-called experts, I bet you none of us so-called experts picked it correctly. We're all different across the board.
Well, I mean, to add the bonus on this podcast, it looks as though Tony Ferguson get arrested for a DUI after crashing a truck in Hollywood. You wouldn't be. I don't look for this stuff. It just pops up on the internet.
Yeah. It looks like he was being like the 2 a.m. I guess, and he had two parked cars. He hurt somebody.
He hit some rapper's car or something. Smashed some rapper's car with his truck.
He hurt somebody, right? Somebody was hurt though. That's the bad part.
No, it didn't look like that. It looks like they're charging him on misdemeanor. They said, according to TMZ Sunday morning, Ferguson allegedly crashed his truck in a pair of parked cars in Hollywood, California. Lightweight was picked up at 2 a.m. for misdemeanor charge DUI, according to the arrest record from the county sheriff's department.
Oh, okay.
Bail set to $30,000, and stated that because he refused a field sobriety test, so he might have his license suspended. And then he was driving his truck by a Hollywood nightclub where he struck the cars, including one reported to be owned by rapper Cash Gotti, who I have no idea who that is. Truck flipped on its side and stopped. The truck flipped on its side and stopped moving, and nobody was injured.
Well, Cash is becoming a household name now.
Yeah, it's gonna be in his new rap song. Got my truck hit by Tony Ferguson. Okay, that's
Yeah,
gonna be the new rap song coming out.
the
So
rap
you,
song. Yeah.
what do you got going on with your guys at AKA right now? You've got Manap got a fight coming up. I saw Umar was in the audience for the main event at the UFC. Want to see who wins that? So
Yeah, I think he was there just to discuss his next situation with Dana, and I'm hoping that we get somebody in the top five, because I really believe he's the heir to that title, and I really believe Umar just has to destroy the next guy who he fights. I want Marab. I want the number one guy. I want him because if we get him, they're not going to deny Umar the next fight after that. But that's who I want. But we'll take whoever we can get that's in the top 4 or 5 if we can get them. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to do it. But remember, Islam was in the same situation. Habib was in the same situation. Nobody wanted to fight him. Well, Umar's in the same situation. He's too high ranked in the top behind, not up front, for any of the top people to want to risk their opportunities. So the UFC has to do their miracle matchmaking and get Umar one of the top guys. Otherwise, we're going to have a tough time. I was hoping that we would get the one fight, already, and then he'd have the next fight would be the title fight. But apparently, we're not getting the fight anytime soon. But hopefully, we'll get a fight this year somewhere, and then he gets next year gets fight for the title. That's what I'm hoping. But it's going to happen only if we get a top guy, top guy, or some miracle happens and someone's injured, and then we step up because Umar will step up to fight anybody. We don't care who we fight. We just want to fight.
is he going to come visit you guys at AKA, or was that just a round trip? You
Uh,
think
I'm not sure. I have no idea. I mean,
it's a long trip? What's another hour to come see Coach?
it's not 1 hour. It's 6 hours, bro.
Well, oh, wait a second.
And
They were New York. My
they're
bad.
New
My
York,
bad.
and
I
then
was thinking they were over in Vegas.
no,
Yeah, yeah,
no.
yeah.
You come 6 hours, and then you go out and go home from there. It's shorter to go from New York to home versus to come to USA. I don't know. We have Abu Bakr fighting June 3rd. I have Movlid, PFL champ. He didn't fight last year because he was injured, but now he's in the semifinals. He's fighting June 8th at Atlantic City. And I have Imma Shafi and I have Gaji fighting June 16th in Bellator and Chicago Wintrust Casino, I believe. So I'm getting ready those guys for that, and they'll be good. They're great fighters, and let's see what happens. And Umar, is the next big champ coming out of Team Habib, aka Team Habib. He's the next UFC champ. I've said it before, and we're getting closer to my prediction, and I'm sticking to what I said. And the next champ. Then after that, I'll pick the next one. But right now, the one I'm on track with, the one I'm focused on, is Umar. He's going to win the title. And Usman is in France right now for the semifinals of the Bellator lightweight tournament, the first round over there, and the winner of that goes with Umar in the semifinals. So Umar's look. I mean, I'm sorry, Usman. Usman looking to see who the winner is, and then he'll fight him somewhere in I don't know, hopefully in the States. I'm praying to San Jose or Vegas or something like that, so I can stay home.
I don't
Rather
know. Is
than
it your
go
buddy?
so
Your
far away.
buddy's like runs the promotion. There was a rumor that PFL was trying to buy Bellator. Did you hear that?
No, I don't
What would they
know.
call it? Pellator? No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying. But you think that Scott's like, okay, and we're going to do one over here on Singapore. I mean, just going somewhere new that you're not
Uh,
expecting. You go to
no,
your
I mean, you never know what's going on behind the scenes, So, money changes things, and remember, a long time ago, Strikeforce was doing a fantastic job. Scott was killing it with all these stars, and
saying in one
and
place
as soon as
mostly.
yeah. Then all of a sudden, the UFC buys them out. Remember they bought out the WEC, they bought out Strikeforce, and then they bought from Japan. They bought uh, you know who I'm talking about, the big one, Ryzen, not Ryzen. Who did they buy? They
Pride.
they bought Pride. They bought Pride.
Pride.
Yeah. So I mean, the UFC cleared out the competition because they knew they were smart. They cleared it out, and so it gives them a big head start. So um, UFC is still number one, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Bellator to me is the second biggest promotion, and I don't see that changing either. But hey, PFL and ONE FC, ONE FC's got a unique thing. PFL's got another unique thing. I just don't know the clarity of it. I don't know any of the champions from either one of them. I mean, I do know the champs now from ONE FC because I saw it. So I know Demetrius is one of the champions, and I know Rod Tung, who's the Muay Thai guy. He's one of the champions, and Mikey Muselli or something like that. He's one of the champions. So I do know that now. But before that, I couldn't have told you other than Demetrius, who is the champ, because I don't know. So it's all about awareness, publicity, and them coming to the U.S. is a good thing. And PFL, I hope they continue doing what they're doing because they treat their fighters really well. They got great tournaments, but let's see. I don't know. See what happens.
It's interesting. There's so many different fight organizations now. I mean, I remember when Bellator was at the same level as King of the Cage, except on television. It was like real back alley back then. And that
was when Roar Born and Red Me was running it and stuff. It was stupid. Then Scott Coker comes over and a real promoter comes in.
Strikeforce was bigger than Bellator then, and as far as its appeal and as far as the fighters, and as far as the world knowledge of this organization, Cage Rage, I would say, was bigger than Bellator back then in England, and we don't even watch it here, but it was big. Now you got so many European leagues too. So
KWS,
KSW,
KSW,
or KWS.
They're good. Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're big. The Octagon too. Octagon. It's called the Octagon. They're good. They pay well. They do well. So a lot of organizations are coming up. And the Middle East. You got UAE Warriors. You got other ones like that coming up. I mean, the world's coming. With bigger leagues. And then you got Russia's got some big ones too. So let's see what happens.
It's kind of interesting. So you've got so just back to Abu Bakr, and how's Kane doing, by the way? He's been in a lot of videos. I see him.
He's doing as a great coach. He's a great coach, great mentor, great wisdom from him. He loves it. He loves what he's doing. He loves giving back, and I'm blessed to have him in the gym. I'm really blessed. I love that guy. He's a great father. He brings his son with him every chance he gets, and he never stops giving attention to his son. And still doing his job as a coach there. It's pretty unbelievable, the bond and the love he has for his boy and his family. It's unbelievable. It's awesome to see.
The fighters definitely seem to wake up to Coach Kane. Like, I don't want to lose any minute of this minute. He's giving me the knowledge. I got to take it all in. They look like they look engaged, like locked on when he's coaching.
They should. They should. You don't get coaching like that. They should gravitate towards what he offers. He offers a lot.
Well, we should do something else here soon. We should maybe do a fan questions coming soon. We haven't done one of those in a while. Now that you're back in the States, we get good internet. There's more coming up. I'll be telling people what's coming up. Also, we should have Remco coming along. I got to touch base with him. I don't know if you've seen that show. Have you seen that show yet? Catch Lightning? It's awesome. I finished it. It was awesome. Catching Lightning. Do you have Showtime?
Don't know. I don't. I don't think so. I mean, I got Amazon,
probably a Netflix, Amazon,
Amazon, Netflix, and things like that. Yeah.
YouTube. That's what we got.
Yeah, YouTube. Nobody really has the other channels anymore.
I know you got to be an old school. Have a rotary telephone that rings on the wall, and then it has a cord, and then you get to have like cable and an 8-track player. You'll be one of those guys.
Yep.
We're changing. Well, you have a good night, Hav.
All right, buddy.
Thanks for coming on. We'll let this out.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
Peace out. Okay, bye.